Fair use for educational purposes only. This is not for monetary value.
All right, guys, we got a lot going on here with the markets. They are flashing signals here and throwing some red flags that we should pay attention to. The Fed just dumped $29 billion in an overnight repo on October 31st, which most people are oblivious to. This is the biggest since lockdowns, and it even tops the dot-com bubble peaks at $25 billion. So you have reserves at a 4-year low, which scream liquidity pinch. And we've got a signal being flashed here that shows that everything is about to tank. And it's not just one signal, it's a combination. They have what's called the Hindenburg omen, and it was just triggered yesterday, or in the past 48 hours. This means that the market breadth is now split. You've got 476 stocks out there hitting 52-week highs, while 170 are hitting new lows simultaneously. Okay? This is a divergence. And they say that this is one of the flags that gets kicked out and that they seen back in 2008 and the other big drop-offs throughout history. Now, the signal requires 3 conditions: that the SPX is above a 50-day moving average, and that more than 2.8% of the New York Stock Exchange issues at a 52-week high and low, and that the McClellan oscillator turns negative. Now, all 3 just happened yesterday, which is why this matters. The McClellan oscillator being negative specifically means that decliners are outpacing advancers on a momentum basis. Now, when you combine that with the deteriorating momentum, with the breadth split, these are the things they look for when you have a combo of red flags and signals, and they say this right here is showing that something's about to happen and go down. Now, there's been false alarms before when just 1 or 2 things signal, but when you get a conglomerate of all these things, 2, 3, or more of these triggers within a time frame, the odds shift meaningfully.
This week, the Supreme Court will hear arguments on whether President Trump's tariff policy is legal. That law gives the president the ability to set tariffs in a national emergency. The president used that authority to impose tariffs earlier this year, and American businesses have paid nearly $90 billion to cover the tariffs being challenged. The president says if the high court rules against him, the government would have to reimburse companies.
Air traffic controller shortages are leading to flight delays nationwide. As we take a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson, where already more than a dozen flights have been canceled or delayed this morning after, get this, more than 300 delays yesterday. Earlier in the week, air traffic controllers here gave out leaflets to passengers urging an end to the shutdown after they missed a paycheck. 11 Alive's Gilad Malamed spoke with travelers as they navigated the frustration.
There was a delay.
That's the situation travelers across the country are facing on day 32 of the government shutdown. The FAA posting staffing conditions are leading to delays at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Felicia Patrick's flight to Baltimore is delayed, but she's not complaining. She's thanking the Frontier Airlines ticket counter employees instead.
The wonderful representative did help us to rebook, and now we are on a flight to Philadelphia, so we were very pleased with how she handled it.
Most flights are heading out of Atlanta on time. The worst delays we saw were up to 8 hours for flights to Dallas. The FAA says staffing in Dallas is impacting on-time arrivals.
I'm going to be tired when I get home.
As Zach Brown tries to get back home to Baltimore, he says he's facing a nearly 2-hour delay.
Definitely. I'm going to be tired.
So how does Atlanta stack up to airports across the country? According to FlightAware, New York's LaGuardia Airport had the highest percentage of delayed departures as of late Saturday evening, with 26% of its departures delayed. Hartsfield-Jackson came in tied for 6th with 17% of flights being delayed. As Delta's hub, most of Atlanta's delays are Delta flights. A spokesperson for the airline tonight confirming to 11 Alive the delays are due to air traffic controller staffing shortages, saying Delta teams are in regular contact with colleagues at the operating level within FAA, including with their air traffic control system command center.
We do understand that there are different things going on in the nation that could cause delays, right? And so we are just pleased that she was able to help us, and so we're on our way.
Gilad Malamed, 11 Alive News.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says that nearly 65% of yesterday's flight delays were due to air traffic control staffing issues. The most, he says, since the shutdown began. Not clear yet what the number is today.
Still waiting to receive their SNAP food assistance benefits. That means that more people will be looking to food pantries to help fill the gaps. I talked to two of them who say they're having to prepare for increased demand with less food to go around.
The lowest our canned goods have ever been, ever.
The shelves are looking a little bare these days at the Well in Centerville, but food pantry director Sherry Cox's heart is full.
I work harder now as a volunteer than when I was in the military, but I love every minute.
The Well usually serves around 300 families a month, but Cox says with the federal government shutdown and concerns about a lapse in SNAP food assistance, that number could nearly double next month.
Probably right around 500 to 600 families.
Cox says even without the shutdown, it's gotten harder to meet the need because the USDA is sending less these days to food banks, which is who she orders from. Cox says she used to be able to choose from 75 to 100 items to stock these shelves.
This last time that I ordered food, there were only 33 items that I could pick from. And unfortunately, they were things like Kleenexes and stuff like that. Kleenexes don't go too well in the stomach. We need food.
Food from the USDA used to make up half of the food that Cox can distribute, but it now makes up less than 5%.
I feel for the people coming through that I can't even put a loaf of bread on their table.
I get so much in that I can't store it.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, and that is who the world ignorantly calls God. Bahashem, which means in the name. Yahweh Shai, which means He is our salvation. And that is who the world also ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites, all right? Now, what you witnessed there was a conglomerate of videos, albeit different, to convey a message that we are mirroring similarities back in 1929 when a crisis known as the Great Depression took place, okay? We're mirroring those same indications or indicators, all right? Now, the first video it was by this person that goes by the name of Dabu007. He did a report on the Hindenburg omen, how the stock market is showing indications of something big getting ready to come. All right. Now we know that the stock market was one principle or cause of the 1929 Great Depression when it collapsed, when it crashed. Okay. Well, they're saying that something similar to that is getting ready to take place based on the Hindenburg omen. Okay. That took place October 31st, just a few days ago. All right. Then on top of that, we got the tariffs. Okay. Now, Trump is supposed to be at a hearing, or supposed to be, the Supreme Court is supposed to be hearing on Trump's tariffs, whether or not they're legal. All right. Because many businesses and corporations have had to pay the tax for them tariffs. All right. And they trying to get reimbursed. So the Supreme Court is supposed to have that hearing later on this week, Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Then on top of that, we have, due to this shutdown, federal employees not being able to what? Work. So guess what? they are out of jobs, okay? Which is why you hear the airlines, going broke. Or should I say delays, okay? This is why you hear the airlines and what? Delays, okay? So these things are all mirroring the what? Symptoms or signs of the Great Depression of 1929, all right? We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed, okay? And then on top of that, you have other things as well, okay? Food banks, they're going empty, all right? So all these things are mirroring the Great Depression, okay? Now let's get a few precepts and let's take it from there. So we back here in the book of Jeremiah 51 and verse 8, and it reads, Babylon is suddenly falling and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. See? So there's no healing this place, okay? This place is finished, all right? Your holidays, your birthdays, your wickedness, it's all coming to an end, all right? And eventually, it's going to be burnt by thermonuclear missiles, okay? Because that's how you cleanse a land, all right? It's going to be this time by the way of fire, all right? Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon. See? There ain't no healing this place, all right? There's only great miseries to come, all right? And see, that lady in the airport and others alike thinking that they just going to get booked or rebooked because they can't catch their flight. But we coming into great times that's going to, rock the very foundations of you Americans, man. All right? Your pacified, pampering, entitlement. All right? Oh, I'll just keep a happy face. The cashier, she was able to reschedule me another flight. It's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to get that flight rescheduled or rebooked. You're going to be stuck there, okay? This place is at its end, man. It's mirroring the Great Depression, all right? And it was all designed, all right, because we know coming out of the Great Depression, we went into World War II, all right? Well, this time, it's going to facilitate the ushering in of our Lord and Savior, Yahushua, World War III, all right? But we know, according to biblical prophecies, that the mark of the beast has to come first, all right? It ain't going to be no World War III and then the mark of the beast, like the so-called Christians tell you with the rapture doctrine. No, mark of the beast will be made mandatory, and shortly after, World War III will pop off, and Babylon will not be what? Healed. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go, everyone into his own country. Right, and you're going to have people that's seeing the writing on the wall, and especially these, foreigners, they're going to up and leave and go back to their own prospective countries, man. The Chinese, man, or the Chinamen, Moab, the Africans, the Hamites, the Hagarenes, all right, so on and so forth, okay? See, they have somewhere to go back, all right? But Jake, here in America, we don't have nowhere, okay? Because why? Our homeland is being preoccupied by the rats that's living there now, okay? And we have to wait for that land, our land, to be purged clean before we go back, all right? According to biblical prophecy, Yahushua is going to take us back home. It says, forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven. Right, that's what you go into Revelation 18, all right? Come out of her, all right? That's us being called up into the chariots, all right? For her iniquities has reached the heavens. It says, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. See? So this place is through, man. There ain't no making America great again. There ain't no buy back America. Try to, make it. No, all this is biblical prophecy, man. This place is finished, man. All right? From food banks running dry to unemployment getting ready to reach an all-time high, and AI is going to come in and take people's jobs, to tariffs, pretty much steamrolling over over mom and pop businesses, to the stock market, its inevitable downfall, crash, You know, everything is lending to the side of this place being finished very soon. Okay, Lord willing. Abba Ratazah, Father will. All right. And there's no new thing under the sun. All right. Every empire, it has to come to an end. Okay. Except for the eternal kingdom of heaven. All right. Which the Israelites will rule solely. All right. There will be no co-heir rulership alongside the Israelites. All right. We're going to have the eternal kingdom, and that kingdom will never be taken down. Okay. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. It reads, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be. Right. This is just the Roman Empire revised. Okay. We're seeing similarities to America. Is the same way that was patterned after the Roman Empire. All right. The Roman Empire pretty much had two major parties, and they try to come forth with the democracy. America is mirroring the same thing. All right. 1929 happened with the Great Depression. We're mirroring the same thing to an extent that we see now. All right. Everything is being put into place to mirror that. Because why? Great calamities and great perilous times is coming here. All right. Famines. The storehouse is being emptied. All right. All of this is coming here to America. It says, in that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. See, this is where judgment is played out, man. All right. America is coming to its 250th year next July 4th, 2026. Okay. The age of an empire. That's usually when an empire, falls apart. All right. And we're approaching that very exact time. All right. 2026. All right. I believe it was established or founded in 1776. So 250 years later. All right. We have what? 2026. Okay. So this place is finished, man. All right. This place is through. All right. There's no healing this place. Okay. And we here telling you, because why? We were commanded to tell you that. Okay. Let me see. I want to double check what I said. America. Founded 1776. Yeah, so we coming up into the 250th year. Double check though. Yeah, so it says the United States will celebrate its 250th anniversary on July 4th, 2026, which marks the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Right, so that's coming up next year, okay? Declaration of Independence was signed July 4th, 1776. Okay? So we're approaching that 250th year, all right, next July 4th, 2026. Okay? So we at the end of this thing, all right? Lord willing, we at the end of it, all right? This place cannot be healed, and it will not be healed, all right? So let's read this one more time, and then we'll get another precept, and then we'll close out. It says, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. So everything was already done beforehand, all right? This place has its cutoff. And there is no new thing under the sun, right? Like I stated, this place mirrors or is the image of Rome all over again. It's Rome revised, Rome 2.0, all right? So from its democracy, with its two parties, pattern after ancient Rome to a lot of its structures, such as, the Washington, D.C. monument, the White House, so on and so forth, all right? This place is through, all right? There's no healing Babylon. We would have healed her if she could, but she cannot be healed, all right? So it's been nice knowing you, okay? This place is through, man. And see, our people, they won't figure it out before it's too late. They ain't going to get it until it's too late, all right? I did have another precept, but it slipped my mind. Lord willing to come back. If not, we just end it out on this note right here. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." See? You here thinking you're going to continue on with your wickedness, you're worshiping idols and celebrating pagan holidays, Our people ain't worrying about, returning back to the Lord and repenting. They worrying about, is we going to have a Thanksgiving? Is I'm going to get my SNAP benefit so I can get me a turkey and some cranberries and what else? Homemade apple pie and stuffing, and then Christmas. Man, the Lord got to shake things up, man. All right? So it says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." See? So we got to thank the Lord that he's getting ready to put an end to this place, man. All right? Those of us that's in the truth, we give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, man. All right? Showing us the signs, all right? That, he's getting ready to send his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, because soon there's going to be more uproars from the people, all right? Right now, they're pretty calm because, see, they still have hope. They still holding out that everything is going to get back on track the way they were. But when it's evident that things ain't going back the way they think they're going, and it's affecting everybody here, then that's when all hell really is going to break out, man, all right? That's when it's going to break out, man, okay? And these elites, they setting the stage, man, for you Egyptians to go against you Egyptians, you Americans against you Americans, all right? Brothers against brothers, all right? Sisters against sisters, mom against daughter-in-law, dad against son-in-law, all right? The stage is being set, man, all right? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour, all right? So with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.